In life, we want to do things our own way. We don't like to be pinned down to others' opinions. In chess, we have the concept called pin, which prevents opponents' piece from doing what they want to do. And that's what we are going to learn today. In this episode, we are going to look at the tactical concept called pin. What does pin mean? Let's directly go to the position on the screen. Now we can see the bishop on b4, the knight, black bishop on b4, white knight on c3, the white king on e1. Right? Now in this case what happens? The knight cannot move because it will expose the king to a check. Right? This is basically a pin. Now in a pin there are three pieces involved. The piece which is doing the pin, in this case the bishop on b4, and the piece which is under the pin, it's called the pinned piece, which is the knight on c3 because it cannot move, and the back piece. Right? Here in this case it is the king on e1. Now if we look at it closely, the pinned piece is usually a lesser material when compared to the piece which is the back piece. Okay? So the king is more important than the knight. So which makes it that the knight cannot move at all because it will lead to a check. So if the back piece happens to be a king, it's called an absolute pin. Okay? If we replace the king with any other piece, let's say a white queen on e1, and let's keep the same pieces, white knight on c3 and the black bishop on b4. In this case what happens? The knight can move, it's not an illegal move, unlike the case when the king is on e1. Now the knight can move, but what happens if the knight moves? He will lose the queen, right? Which is a heavy loss for white. So in this case it's a relative pin. So there are three pieces involved: the pinning piece, the pinned piece, and the back piece. And usually the back piece is more powerful than the piece which is under pin. So making this almost impossible to move. And if I move the pinned piece, usually it leads to loss of material, or in some cases even checkmate. Understood the concept now? Now I have set up few positions in front of you. Now you have to tell me how to make a pin. Okay? Let's take it from there. Lakshesh, I have a simple question for you. Which move by white you can achieve a pin?
We can achieve the pin from move bishop g5.
Bishop g5. Okay, please make the move on the board. Yeah. So now we can see the knight is pinned against the queen. The pinned piece is knight on f6. The back piece is queen, and usually the back piece is a bigger material than the pinned piece, and if the knight moves it will involve loss of material. Now let's go to Advika. Now can you make a pin from black's viewpoint?
Bishop b4.
Yeah, make the move please. Now Pragya, what is this pin called? Is it a relative pin or an absolute pin?
An absolute pin.
Can you tell me why?
Only when the king is the back piece, it is called an absolute pin.
Yeah, fantastic. So here the back piece is a king, which simply means the pinned piece can never move. It will become an illegal move. So this is an example of absolute pin. Now let's go to Pragya's position. Black to play. How can black do a pin here?
Bishop g4.
Very good. Make the move. Again, which is a familiar concept. The pinned piece is smaller than the back piece. Okay, so the pinned piece cannot move. And Shivika, you have an interesting position. How can black do a pin?
Knight c3.
Fantastic. Now the pawn on d4 is under pin, right? And the pawn on d4 is the pinned pawn. Usually it's a pinned piece, but in this case it is a pinned pawn. And the back piece is a queen, which is higher value than the pawn. And as usual, we move the pawn, we lose the queen. Yes? So we have seen few examples. Now let's move to some complicated examples on the screen in front of us. Now in this first position, this is an absolute pin where the rook on f7 cannot move because the bishop b3 is pinning the rook against the king on g8. So white should play queen b7 and doing a double attack on the rook on f7. And black has to play queen d7, which is interposing between the queen and the rook. And white has a fantastic move, which is rook e7, which exploits the pin beautifully. Now we have the pin along the diagonal, we have the pin along the 7th rank. Okay, it's a very interesting position. So let's see 3 more examples. Now in this case, black has just played bishop takes c3, and the most natural move seems to be an automatic recapture with bishop takes c3, but then it doesn't lead to any gain for white, but white has a fantastic move which black completely overlooked when he took bishop c3, that is queen d2. Now if you see, this is a cross pin. Now the bishop on c3 is under double pin. Now if he takes the queen, it becomes an illegal move because it opens the diagonal bishop b2 to king h8. So he is not able to take the queen. So let's see what happens if he takes the bishop. Now this bishop c3 unfortunately is also pinned against the queen on a5. So again we see the piece which is the bishop has lesser value. The back piece queen a5 and the back piece king h8, they have a higher value than the pinned piece. Okay, so this is called a crossed pin. Got it? Now let's move to the next position. In this example, the queen is pinned. We have the queen on d3 supported by the rook on d1 and the king on b1. The black queen is on f5. So it looks like everything is in place for white, but black came up with a brilliant move, rook d8. Now this queen, even though it's the most valuable piece in the board with 9 points, the king has even higher value, an infinite value. So again we see the back piece is powerful than the pinned piece. And what happens if I take queen takes f5? It's simply rook d1 and it's a checkmate. Right? So let's see one final example under pin. Now in this example, we have the rook c7, rook d7, king g7. So the white rook on c7 is pinning the black rook on d7 against the king. So the king f7 is more powerful than the pinned piece rook d7, and it's an absolute pin. But the rook on d7 is under protection with the queen on e8. So queen e8 is defending the rook. But white has the queen on c4. He uses a cross pin by playing queen b5. Now after queen b5, the rook is not only pinned against the king, it is also pinned against his own queen. Okay? So if he moves the rook, he loses the queen. So in this episode, we saw many examples of absolute pin and relative pin. So before we go to the next episode, let's quickly go through what we have seen in this episode. In the next episode, we are going to see the other tactical theme, skewer.